Okay, I'm sorry, I've been gone a little while. Well, fascism has ripped through the nation. Didn't mean to leave you hanging. Had to take a step back, a little depressed, a little analytical, coming back new and fresh with a new perspective. I've been a little too hard on the moderates, a little too hard on the Republicans, and my God, if we ever needed to unite, it wouldn't be now. Fascism has ripped through the nation. Step by step, as it always does. It's a one-trick pony. It's not hard to predict. In that time, I've released an album, Fascist Addict, that is dying on the vine, on the streaming services. Maybe we can change that. And I've started submitting my one-man show on film, A Peasant's Voice, the divided states of the poor working class. It's won some awards, honorable mention, best documentary. It's a one-man show. It's a story told with music and art about how my life has shaped my worldview, and it was made 12 weeks before the 2024 presidential election. It was a warning of what was to come. If we didn't vote the right way, things didn't go according to, well, they went according to plan, apparently. You gotta believe this is all meant to be, right? Maybe this is the wake-up call we all need. I don't know. Fascism's, it don't go quietly, does it? Anyway, new song from the album, Fascist Addict, Trump. Well, hell no.
See, I come from a long goddamn line of
Antifa now, huh? Gee, Jehoshaphat, what's going on here? We'll start with the end. Antifa, an organizational list. It's just not, it's Antifa that's like the World War II soldiers. They're Antifa. Anyone who's got a problem with fascism is technically Antifa. You don't have to join. It's not. There's no leadership. You don't join it. You just decide it in your mind, and you know. There's. I imagine there's people that consider themselves Antifa, but they don't go to a group, organization, nothing like that. So how do you do? You know what you do? What he's doing? He's declaring anyone who disagrees with him a terrorist. I can be thrown in Guantanamo Bay for saying what I'm saying. Oh, that doesn't sound fun. Just ask the people there. They went on a hunger strike to end it all, and they shoved the fucking food up their asses with a pipe and a tube of misery, anally raped them until they gave up their hunger strike. There's no way out. It's just hell. It's the equivalent of hell. There's lawless. It's in Cuba for a reason. American laws don't apply. Oh, and we allow this to happen. Obama could have closed it. What did he do? Everything will be fine. I'm a rational, intelligent person. Everything will be fine. Yeah, that's going well. No, I love Obama. He tried. But he didn't go far enough. He wasn't ready for the change everyone was ready for. He didn't give us a public option. He just funneled more money into insurance companies' pockets. Now, God love him, you no longer die, of misery if you happen to get caught without a job when you caught an illness. A pre-existing condition means we don't treat sick people. So it's not affordable. We can't profit off of a sick person. We only treat healthy people. That's the program. Now, if you have insurance before you get sick, we'll help you until you die. No, that's not how it goes. Everybody who gets cancer goes bankrupt. Well, at least I think it's like 5 out of 10 people that get cancer go bankrupt with insurance. Well, that's not insurance. That's a scam. Talk about a pyramid scheme. Oh my God, everybody, the only guy that benefits is the guy at the top, winning his pockets. But I'm not here to criticize. I am here to criticize because there's reasons that we're here. This fascist takeover has been going on for a long time. And every president preceding us has played a part. Since Reagan. Reagan undid the Fairness and Media Doctrine. Guess what? All of our media sucks, and everyone agrees it sucks except for their choice of media. Their choice of media's got it right. Well, the best advice I can give you is stop watching television. Stop it. Don't do it. You can't trust these corporate monsters. Any news organization that cuts the commercial is a liar. It's gotta be. I mean, look at all these companies bowing to him and giving him money after he sues them for doing their job. He doesn't sue anyone telling lies. He sues people telling the truth. He doesn't like the truth. He lives in a bubble. He believes his reality that he watches on Fox News every day is the truth. And people that watch Fox News believe that is the truth. That's what we're up against. They don't know they're fascists. I'm not mad at Republican voters. They've been hoodwinked, bamboozled by false prophets, as is predicted in the Bible. I'm not saying the Bible's coming true, but I'm saying there's enough nut jobs at the top that'll make it come true because they believe it. Let's give the Jews back in their homeland. That'll mark the end of the world. Oh my, that aligns with the boiling of the seas. There are dead zones in the ocean, for crying out loud, where nothing grows because it's too hot. There's no oxygen in the water. No fish can breathe in it. Dead fish are washing up on the shore. Now, if you're writing a prophecy before science exists, you're going to say the sea's boiled. You're not going to say the lack of oxygen. But, these myths predict reality because it's cyclical. It happens over and over. So here come the floods, the tornadoes, fire from the sky, nukes, bombs. Now, while I was gone, the NAPCA happened. NAPCA, 75-year anniversary of the NAPCA, 1948. Guess what happened after World War II? The Jews returned to their homeland. What does that mean? The Palestinians' land was cut in half. They weren't on the side of Hitler. They did nothing wrong. Why'd they lose half their country? Because the Bible says. People that believe in the Bible made it happen, right? Now, maybe the Bible is true, and we'll all find out together, right? But I don't think the Earth is 5,000 years old. I don't think that the outcast that Jesus loved should go to hell because the Old Testament says so. I believe Jesus redefined the Old Testament. That's what he came back to do. He said, you got it all wrong. And these churches are not preaching the word of God. What are they? They're blasphemous, false prophets. And guess what Trump is? The ultimate false prophet. He's the Antichrist, for Christ's sake, according to this stuff. Oh my God, this is where we're at, folks. So the NAPCA happens. And what's happening? A genocide. Trump comes out and says we're getting rid of Palestine. There's no longer a Palestine because he's stupid, right? Netanyahu told him the plan, and he's too stupid to keep it a secret because he doesn't know. You got to do these things in a sneaky way. Well, they're not even being sneaky. They just control the media, the debate around the bombing of hospitals, civilians, the murder of civilians, getting food, right? The slaughter of the genocide and the exile is happening in real time, just right in front of us. And it's not even being covered on the news anymore because they flood the zone with shit. And the media can't keep up. It's designed to just say something stupid for 5 minutes and then cut the commercial. That's what it's designed to do. Sell some oil and some soap, and Viacom will advertise one of their companies. It's designed to destroy, to manipulate, because Reagan undid the Fairness and Media Doctrine, and then when the Congress passed it and panicked and said he's just gonna flood the zone with zeitgeist with propagandists, Congress, the Democratic and Republican Congress got together and said we got to stop him, pass it. He vetoed it. So then Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, all these fucks, these Nazis, they were always Nazis, fascists, took over and said, let's divide the people up. You don't want tax cuts for the wealthy? Well, we screw you and take your health care and your food and your safety net and we don't control the wages, but we can control your taxes. We'll give you a little bit. We'll give you some crumbs. Give the other guy the pie, the guy we really work for, the corporation, the immortal, all-powerful creature that just gobbles up profits and destroys everything in its wake. That's what's happening. It's obvious to anyone who's looking. Anyone aware of that goes, maybe that makes sense. Start to pay attention, then they learn, right? But who am I? I'm a ghost on this radio, on this podcast. But I ain't stopping, I ain't giving up, I ain't running to Canada. I come from a long line of broken soldiers. All my uncles and my father, the men who raised me, knew that war was hell. But guess what? This is a war. A war for the soul of this country. Not a bloody war. They're going to make it a bloody war because that's what the fascists do. See, this No Kings protest, 10/18. I hope you all can make it. You'll all be Antifa that day. Trust me, it's not going to go well. They're already talking about, well, it'll be a bloodless revolution as long as the leftists allow it to be. And this Charlie Kirk thing, this is a total inside job. This kid is so innocent. You know what a 30-06 from that range does to a human? Blow his fucking head off. I'm sorry. I'm not saying this is a great thing like some of the nut jobs on Twitter or whatever. Everybody on Twitter just gets triggered and says what the first thing that comes to their mind, and they say dumb shit. That's just reality. But none of them would pull the trigger. They're not monsters. They're just They just know that Charlie Kirk was a monster. He was a manipulative, money-hungry, non-Christian, Christian-claiming Nazi fascist. He was. But it doesn't mean he deserves to die, and we should have free speech. But you shouldn't be able to yell fire in a crowded theater. We can all agree on that. Why can't we agree that you shouldn't be able to lie about reality and call it news? Why? Well, because the fairness of media doctrine's been undone, and you can do that. You can precisely do that and get away with it. Fox News, which is a propaganda organization, can be called news. MSNBC, which is a propaganda organization, can be called news. And for instance, CNN is 73% accurate, and Fox News is 12% accurate. So who's being sincere and who's obviously not? Who's trying to be sincere? But 27% of what CNN says is bullshit, propaganda. Now, when the FCC was sincere and there was the Fairness and Media Doctrine running the show, they would be fined for that, and it would be front page news everywhere. Holy shit! They were inaccurate, and they got fined $100 million. Money talks to these monsters. Money talks. You don't now you can be 12% accurate, inaccurate 88% of the time, and be called news. Well, that's insane. And what's Charlie Kirk's claim to fame? He goes around and bullies college kids who are just starting to learn, starting to understand how to think. And he's a grown man. Oh, and with a photographic memory. Oh, okay, how's that going to turn out? He doesn't win the argument with the truth. He wins the argument because he's a bully and a monster and he's tricky. He's a snake oil salesman. That's all he was. Now I mourn his death. It's a tragedy. His poor wife and children. Oh my God, and all the. But it doesn't make me hate the left. The left didn't even do it. It was an inside job, and it's going to be proven, and it won't be proven in court. This guy will die in court or in the. But I mean, a 30-06 will take your head off. And this was like, you see the guy doing the signs. There's many theories out. But, I don't know. It's just a mess. And of course it's a mess. Fascism's always a mess. 88% of the violent acts committed politically are right-wing, mostly white supremacists. And people that don't like... they've been bombing. The evangelical followers have been bombing abortion clinics since the 80s, when it became an obsession to stop the murder of fetuses, to stop the ending of pregnancies, however your brain absorbs that reality. Now, I get that. If you think that that's killing a baby, then don't do it. But don't tell me not to do it. That's theocracy. This is not a theocratic country. You're gonna have you claim that Mamdani wants Sharia law while you have Sharia law. You are running a theocrat. We are being run by theocrats now. Trump appeases Christians because he knows that gives him power, not because he's a Christian. He's a monster. And these people aren't Christian, they're Christian heretics. He's appeasing the Christian heretics. They run the show. And that's generally the result of false prophets who run the show. Oh my God, how weird. So the Republicans make a deal in the 80s. Let's pretend that we're pro-choice, they call it pro-life, pro-life, because the opposite is death. So we pretend we're pro-life, and we'll get the evangelical vote because our ideas suck. Nobody's going to vote for our one idea, which is tax cuts to the wealthy. That's their only idea. That's the only major piece of legislation that's been passed since Reagan. That and the cutting of services for the American people. You want to make America great again? Well, then punish all the people and take away their health care, their food stamps, the workers that are needed to pick the food, to harvest the food, to slaughter the chickens, to slaughter the cows. Those are all immigrants. Since the jungle, since Steinbeck wrote The Jungle. Is it Steinbeck? Forgive me if I'm off on that. Maybe it was Dickens, I don't know. No, it wasn't Dickens. But anyway, my point is, we went through this in the 40s. Fascism says, look at that scapegoat. We got to stop him. He's why your life sucks. This is why your taxes are so high. Well, why are my wages so low? Who's answering that question? The radical left. Why are they radical? Because they're saying wages are too low and we need to stop it. We need to do something about that. The corporations have it all, and they run the show, and they cripple small businesses, and small businesses create 90% of the jobs. So guess what? Right now, in a corporate monarchy, jobs are disappearing. And they'll be replaced by robots. And everybody will be poor and dead. They just want to, what is it? The great replacement theory is really being replaced by robots. That's the truth. But they say, no, it's the immigrants. It's the minorities. Never mind that they are the majority of the world. We call them minorities because in this country, it's mostly white. Whatever. And white people are like, well, they're going to be as bad as us. They're going to, hang us and lynch us and press us and not hire us. So they admit but in their false reality, white people are righteous and do the right thing. And these DEI hires you're hiring a person that's less educated. Well, no, it just means you don't pass up on the black guy who's more educated and more prepared for the job. You don't pass up on him because he's not white, because you're a racist prick. That's just not allowed. We're trying to educate you to hire the best person for the job. That's the goal of DEI. And now we're erasing it, and just like Trump got rid of every black person and woman in the military. Because obviously they're stupid and can't function and love their country and defend it, obviously. And they can't lead. There's never been a good black leader like Dr. King or Malcolm X or Obama he's just a racist psychopath. And he's using that scapegoat. So now who's the new scapegoat? The left, Antifa. Looks like we're all Antifa now. You'll find out. I wrote that, before all this happened, because fascism is not because I'm a prophet, because history repeats itself and fascism is a one-trick pony. You understand? And I'm not a nut job who's saying, look at me, I'm right. I'm not saying I told you so. I'm saying get on board and understand what's going to happen next, which is he's going to round up dissenting voice and send them to Guantanamo in the name of anti-Antifa terrorism control. And he's got his brown shirts. ICE is armed to the teeth. They're just not doing it yet because the plan is to unleash the military and ICE on the American citizen next. But first you got to sedate the people with this new reality. You got to slowly build up like Trump always does. First he says it, he jokes about it, then he does it. Happens every time. Over and over, right in front of you. Now, if you're watching the wrong media, watching any media, you're not noticing this. My advice to you is to read the paper, please. At least the paper still sticks to the fairness and media doctrine a little bit better. They still try. They still attempt to have true sources and so on. And in Fox, they just say, some people are saying, but that's not a source. What does that mean? What does that mean, some people are saying? My sister said, what's that, news? That's news? What are you, a monster? You know that's not news. You know you're not a moron, Sean Hannity. You know that's not news. You do it because it's a ruse that you can get away with. And you saw you got on the AM radio the second that Reagan ended the fairness and media doctrine. You're like, I'm an intelligent man who knows the truth. I'll tell everyone the lie and then make $1 million and be the illusion of wealth and fame is what I want. Women, I want the women. You're a monster and a moron, and it's just tragic that we fall for this. And anybody would fall for it if you're only watching that, if you're only absorbing that information, that side of the story. It just becomes the reality. That's just human nature. What the tribe says and does is how you behave. We're tribal. That's just the reality. I'm trying to expand the tribe, get everybody on board. But the truth is that in this point in time in history, see, I would have been a Republican in the 1930s. You know what the slogan of the Republican Party was for president in the 1930s? Wage labor is one step next to slave labor. Vote for us. I would have been a Republican. But what happened was, I'll tell you what happened. I've already said it, but just in case you're new to the show. What happened was the end of segregation. It flipped overnight. The Democratic vote used to be all from the southern states. And they said, we'll never vote for a Democrat again. They made us coexist with black people who are dangerous and ignorant, and they're going to take our jobs. And it's just the same old white fear story that Trump is replaying, this time with immigrants and now leftists. So that's stage 3 of fascism every time. The first thing Hitler did when he came to power was he arrested all of Antifa, the original Antifa organization in Germany, the Antifascista. So he just read that playbook. Stephen Miller, not him, Trump didn't read it. He doesn't read. He's a moron. But, you're not a moron if you don't read. But I'm saying, on top of not reading, he's also got readers around him who tell him what to do. And he goes, oh, that's a good plan. Like you said the other day, he just heard the idea that, you mean there was a war, so there were no elections? Oh, what a good idea. Oh, okay, so you're not gonna end the elections and stay in power, obviously? That's not your obvious plan? He always jokes about it. He just said it out because he's dumb. He just said it out loud. He didn't say, oh, that's interesting, I'll do it, and I'll keep it to myself so nobody knows I did it. He doesn't need to do that. He's got cohorts in the media that'll go on the TV the next day and say, he didn't really say that. The left are crazy and liars, and we have to stop them. So I talk in left and right because they describe it this way, but it's really top versus bottom. There's people that understand that the people on top are taking everything and leaving us with the debt. There are people on the bottom who understand that, and they want you to join us in understanding that. So they say, join the left. But really what they mean is join the bottom. Admit that you're on the bottom and that your life isn't getting better because of his policies. These aren't even policies. This is just a fascist takeover, right? So we're going to get to another song from the album Fascist Addict. To make gray. To make gray, you need a black and white, or wrong and right. People say that it's all gray, but that ain't true. It's all painted black, but I am not afraid. Today, we share these illusions and this confusion together, hand in hand. And people say it's so gray, but that ain't true. To make gray, you need a black and white, a wrong and right, truth and lie. We carry it all on our shoulders. And today we share the weight. And people say that it's so gray, but that ain't true. We've been hoodwinked, and we blame each other for the struggles we are under. Hey, Elon Musk, guess what? All those hair plugs and that jawline, the new jawline, you got that gender affirming care, you fucking moron. You won't even talk to and love and accept your daughter for who she is because you just can't handle it emotionally. You hate your feminine side so fucking much. You shamed her when she was a child. Made her feel uncomfortable in her own skin. Well, of course she's uncomfortable in her own skin. She's born in the wrong body. Soul can be born in the wrong body. Soul is separate from the body. It's been happening since the Bible. The Code called them two spirits and worship them. go back in time a little bit. Just a little bit. This is from, where is this from? ABC News, Forbes, The Guardian, MSNBC. Oh my God! Donald Trump doubles down on Ghislaine Maxwell, whatever her name is, Maxwell pardon comment. Sorry, I can't remember at the moment. As of July 30th, 2025, there is ongoing speculation and discussion surrounding a potential pardon of Maxwell, a former associate of Jeffrey Epstein, who we all know who she is. She was serving a 20-year prison sentence. So, Trump said, well, I'm allowed to pardon her. See, that's what I mean. He just kind of throws it out there in a comment to just kind of sedate you, get you ready. She goes in front of his personal lawyer, who he sends in with, of course, you know, his direct. I mean, he's never allowed anyone to speak for themselves, so he told them what to say, right? And of course, this guy knows that some of it's, you know, most of it's stupid, so he's going to do it his way. But once he's behind closed doors. But my point is, she says what he wants to hear, which is Trump didn't do anything inappropriate. Trump is a gentleman who grabs women by the pussy and brags about it. He's a gentleman. He would never be interested in sex with a person. He's not a sex addict or a nut job, power-hungry son of a bitch who sees sex as power, and that's it. So why would he be interested in Epstein's island that he's gone to 32 times, according to flight logs? Now, the problem is, only half the country knows of these facts that I'm sputtering out off the top of my head because they're so obvious and they stick in your mind because they're so disgusting. This is sex with children. They keep saying young women. What's that mean? Children. They're children. Right? So they don't know any better. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what they're doing. They're hoodwinked, bamboozled, abused, degraded. And they do it, you know, sometimes for the illusion of wealth and fame. At the end is the goal, but that's the quid pro quo. So you can see why they might be hoodwinked. But the point is, he's guilty as shit if she says what he wants to hear and she's moved to a minimum security prison. This is a woman who lies under oath to cover up. She's a sex trafficker, for Christ's sakes. Now there's a kid who had too much weed on him, is in a max security prison getting raped every day. A young man, 18-year-old. 17-year-old. We try them as adults sometimes, right? Because we're monster. The system is a monster, and it eats black people alive. Black people commit more crimes than white people. No, they're just arrested more often. When I was in high school, nobody ever stopped and frisked me. That just didn't exist in my reality. There weren't cops everywhere beating the shit out of me. I didn't live in violent, drug-ridden areas. Well, the property tax is so low that the schools suck. Because that's, of course, how we fund our schools, the property tax, surrounding property. You know. I know people that live in lake communities that got great schools. I know people that I've lived in the ghettos, the shitty schools. I wonder why. You need funding to do a job. Everybody knows that. Try to go to work without equipment tomorrow, mechanic. It doesn't work so well. You don't have the tools to do the job, you can't do it. How do you get the tools? Funding. Now, my point is, it's obvious she's been convicted and caught lying under oath. You know how you catch somebody lying under oath? They say something that isn't true, and then you say, this isn't true because, and you show the evidence of them in a text message contradicting it or whatever. Or there's a million ways to prove somebody's lying. You don't think that's possible? Well, they're just making it up. Okay. Now, that's possible to do if I'm the only one you're talking to. If I'm a detective investigating a murder, and the first witness I interview is the murderer and says, don't listen to any of their witnesses, they're all lying. And then you got 99 witnesses saying he did it. You go, no, I'm going to believe that guy. The guy I talked to. He said not to talk to you. I'm not talking to you. That's what Fox News does. Don't trust any other media source but me. That's what Charlie Kirk did. Don't trust anyone but me. Now, if you don't think there's a right-wing media and a left-wing media and a media that's just literally in the middle telling the truth, There is no left-wing media. There's no media source. MSNBC doesn't run around every day yelling, climate change is going to destroy civilization. They just don't do it because it would hurt their profits. They got to cut commercial too, and even their cable. What are they doing? I'm paying for your show, and you're making me watch propaganda cartoons called commercials. Oh my God, the system is just disgusting, right? So of course we're all angry, frustrated, stressed. They took everything and left us with the debt. So it's easy for you to convince me that trans people are the problem, immigrants are taking my jobs, and the left is violent. Now this recent ICE shooting, they shot an all migrants, the shooter, but he happened to be a leftist. What? The leftist hated ICE. He wrote anti-ICE. Nobody writes anti-ICE that's on the left. We don't say anti-ICE. It's not one of our slogans. We say fuck ICE. We say ICE is the brown shirt Nazis. They don't know, and they know they are. They're most of them are white supremacists. He empowered the same people that stormed the Capitol, the Proud Boys and these monsters that were convicted in court. And they had them on the radio. They had eyes in the sky, giving them direction and telling them, well, as soon as he calls martial law, as soon as he declares Insurrection Act, we're going to get the guns and we're shooting, we're killing all these congressmen, all these motherfuckers. Because they don't like the Republican politicians in Congress either. They only tolerate them because they do what Trump says. They think Trump is the sole one helping. You know what he's doing? He's fulfilling their every dream in the culture war. And their white fears are being answered. And I'm sorry, but there were some moderate voters that went along with this because they weren't, and God love them, they're just so busy with their lives, they didn't know that Trump was a true fascist. But I think they know now, and I think they would vote different now. But there's no one to vote for. The Democrats are just feckless. There are the progressives who are silenced by MSNBC and CNN. And CNN interviews Bernie and says, "Oh, you like the Castro? God, you're a communist." Oh, that's a left-wing media source that just lied blatantly and backed Bernie into a corner that he fell into, and then he lost Super Tuesday because all the moderates dropped out. Bloody Monday, all the moderates dropped out. Obama went behind the scenes and said, "Buttigieg, you can run for president next time if you drop out now. I'll allow it." Beto O'Rourke, you can lose in Texas for the rest of your life. We'll let you do it. Well, we won't bring up somebody else if you drop out. Kamala, first one kicked out. She's our new candidate. Oh my God. Kamala, first one to lose the primary, the moderate. Said, "I'm not gonna give you health care. We're not gonna solve the problem." You know how you can lose health care under cutting Medicaid? Because it's not universal. Just go all the way and do it. And we can solve this back and forth where Republicans take everything away. And you give us a little bit back. A little bit. Oh, please. No more. I'm not criticizing moderate people. I'm not criticizing right-wing voters. I'm criticizing your leadership. Understand. I'm not attacking you. Please understand. I want you to join us in understanding these things. And I think most of you understand these things, but you're convinced that my candidate is dangerous. Bernie is dangerous. Who's dangerous? Trump. That's what we were saying. Kamala can't beat Trump. And now she's propped up as a possible candidate again. Gavin Newsom's propped up as a possible candidate again. Maybe Gavin Newsom is, I don't know. I haven't heard enough from these people, but from what I've seen of the way they run their states, they're morons. Mamdani is the last one I discussed, his big primary win. Look what's happened since then. He's going to execute Sharia law. While they're executing Sharia law, theocratic bullshit. Oh, the up is down and left is right in fascism. And it works on people. It's just so frustrating. Look, I know I didn't cover the months. I don't know if we're going to do that anymore. We're just going to cover the Fascist Takeover now, I think. But I'm going to leave you with one more song. Okay, one more song. And it's called The Mad King Part 2, The Devil and the President. This is a discussion between Trump and the devil, the corporate monsters and the financial institution kingpins. And I want you to listen to the lyrics because it's going to lead you out. I want you to listen to a progressive truth.
You're listening to journalism, bottom line, it's as simple as the toss of the dime, your pockets lined with greed. And the devil's on the phone, says Mr. President, this guy could cost us money. And here he goes again. We gotta drop the bomb on his niece's wedding. Never was a good man, said they didn't need to take me to watershed. They said all that shit you promised. Well, I know what you're gonna do instead. We gotta make the people. We gotta make the people free, free, free to love me. He's on the grind, no person. But ExxonMobil is, I think I'll represent him. I'm gonna represent him. I may scapegoat the blame as I give it all away to the top 1%, the 1%. To the top 1%, the 1%, yeah. You're loyal to me and you kiss my ass. I'll give you a little bit. I'll give you a little bit, man. But when we divvy up the pie, I think I'll take 99%. You can all fight over the crumbs that I left. And I know the left is just the egalitarian